Captain!
After getting the sample
Over
taken
here.
care of, it's time to meet our friend back at the mast.
The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it. But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier. So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there. My relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place. I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus, woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin, a title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians. Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come.
I am still in shock that they actually have clones. Like, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Like, a futuristic space game has clones, but man, they're gonna try being all funky with it now. Man, you're a clone of a man? How's that work?
A non-trivial amount of gene editing. Clone, honestly, isn't even really the right term for our relationship, thanks to the amount of donor material that was required to bring me into this world. He and I are different on more than a few levels, but there's no denying the fact we're inextricably linked.
How? What do you mean by that, even? Doesn't sound like they succeeded in securing that legacy.
No. They made a pretty grave miscalculation. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death, on both sides. Freestar Collective and UC. Military and civilians. And the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be forewarned.
Well, I think you're still doing good work now, and you still have the betterment of mankind kind of in your goal setting, so but you're not your father. If the cabinet doesn't see that, it's their problem, not yours. Well, it's not really just her problem, it's kind of everyone's problem. We need them to kind of work together. Wow, and I thought my family was messed up. No. My parents in the game are awesome. What did your father do to merit being executed?
He had his men open fire on civilian ships during the Battle of Cheyenne. A battle that he ultimately ended up losing anyway, devastating the UC fleet and bringing the Colony War to an ugly end for the UC. But he's also the one who ordered the bombing of the Londinian spaceport during their outbreak, condemning countless lives. Both sides agreed the settled systems would be better without him.
Man, that guy was brutal. Not sure I can blame them. This family of yours doesn't sound like they were paragons of virtue.
That's not an unfair assessment. But what we're doing now, I'm really trying to set some things right here. So your help means a lot more than I figured you might realize. I just thought you ought to know. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into the middle of this pretty fast. Or if you've got any last-minute business to attend to, now might be a good time.
Vanguard.
No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us waiting out here.
Take care of a few things. No. Are you willing to tell me any more about your father?
I mean, we never spent a lot of time together. He was too busy being fleet admiral to deal with kids. I was raised by a pair of guardians instead. Until his defeat during the Colony War, though, he was known as an extremely effective commander. Savvy, perceptive. That mind opened a lot of doors for him. And for me, too. But Eyewitness, for all his ability, was heartless. Ruthless to a fault. In the end, that's what cost him his life.
Yep, sounds pretty ruthless, but your eyes, they're red. Is that a result of the cloning process?
That's
I was
actually
wondering
a
about that
souvenir
myself,
from
too.
my time on Mars. The Red Devils unit I was a part of, they were founded by recruits who'd worked some of Mars' deepest mines. Folks used to adversity. The dust at those depths, it seeps into everything. The human eye included. Where the name Red Devils came
Whoa.
from in the first place. It became an unwritten rite of passage that anyone wanting to enlist with the Devils had to do a stint in the mines before they could join up. The Devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training, so as soon as I was old enough, I signed up. And the eyes were my parting gift.
Your parting gift? Jeez. They look pretty cool. I thought she was like related to the other dude, so... No, I don't have any more questions now. Let's
Then
keep
I
going.
guess it's just a matter of...
The cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the cabinet
It's a matter of
chambers.
what? You just got cut off by the AI. United Colonies. How large is this council? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people? It's not a very big
welcome.
council.
You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this information.
She made it clear that addressing this issue required the utmost urgency.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope we'll determine here today. So now, we have 2 petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terramorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all 3 Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
If we say we're still trying to figure it out, that's going to look bad. We need the data to stop an apocalypse. No, yeah, we need the archival data to find a way to stop a possible terramorph apocalypse.
That's quite the leap, Captain. Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, terramorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium. I would also ask, how many deaths the Cabinet requires to act? 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we? And while there should be no doubt the
Really
preservation
jumping
of
her throat
life
for being
stands
civil. The other
paramount
guy's quite the
among this
ass.
body's duties, Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this terramorph seem at all alarming to you?
It wiped out a colony that never saw it coming. That's pretty alarming.
That is worth considering. This attack took place on an almost completely uninhabited world. The casualties were minimal as a result. But if there's another attack, will we be so lucky?
Yes, a fine point, Admiral. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position, would you grant the request made to open the archives?
Why is she asking me? Is she not supposed to be the council? Like, I'm some rookie new hire, and they're like, what about you? What would you do? Maybe we'll take that in consideration. Personally, I would wait. Madam President, If there's a chance what happened on Cow City could happen elsewhere, we need to grant the request. Personally, I would wait. We don't have enough information yet. I don't want to jump right into it, but man, this is a hard decision. But I don't want to, like... I hate that they're even asking me this. Like, are they going to actually listen?
It's a little intimidating. I understand.
Personally, I want to make it seem like I'm like middle balance. I'd say personally I would wait, only because we don't have enough information. That sounds fair.
Yes, given what we've heard, I find myself in agreement, Captain.
No, the captain is precisely right. We could hardly be expected to make a galaxy-affecting decision on such scant evidence.
Yes, a fair assessment, Chief Diplomat. So then, while the data you two have presented is compelling, I think we can safely say it's insufficient for the level of action you've requested. Perhaps once we've... What was that?
Attention. Attention. An incident has
Oh
occurred.
my god.
Facility lockdown.
Are they seriously already here?
Incident. Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
Is this going to be the evidence you guys needed?
At the spaceport. Terramorphs.
Terramorphs.
Multiple?
More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanner somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support?
I'll make the order myself. Nearest
I should probably get
Anti-Xeno
heading
squad,
down there
though, is
myself.
off-world. Going to take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it, ma'am. Captain, I'm right behind you. Let's get down there.
You! The EM rifle, grab it!
What are you doing? EM fire, Captain!
What is going on with these citizens? Am I supposed to be shooting them? Well, they're not attacking, right? I'm so confused what's happening here. Let's just get on. No, I gotta kill the people, I guess.
Why? Why are you fighting me? Not.
Alright, so I just had to kill some humans. Because they were like going crazy or something. Alright, security, you guys gotta say what's going on.
Thank God you got here when you did. I just wish it hadn't come to that.
Yeah, what the hell happened back there, Captain? There's no excuse for using lethal force here.
Well, I did what was necessary to save those people.
Or you could have used the EM gun like you were ordered. These are lives you're playing with here, so get your head in the game. Understand? Now, officer. The way those people were acting. I've seen this before. They were under the Terramorph's influence, weren't they?
I don't know. They were down at the port and they just started screaming. We'd tried to restrain them, get them on the train to get them out of harm's way, but some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast enough. They just started firing on us. People we knew.
Gun that lady was talking about. I wasn't given some
Went
EM
berserk.
gun.
Pheromonic projection.
Oh,
Some
all right.
Terramorphs, they can induce
Standing in
this
front of each other
fog.
awkwardly.
It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control, turn against everyone around them, even if they don't want to. They're like a puppet. You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire.
I
And that we
guess.
should grab that EM weapon before we head out.
Oh, now you want to give me... Oh my gosh. So does this mean I need to worry about you turning on me?
I honestly was just wondering the same thing. But no, you don't need to worry about me. I've had a Terramorph try it on me before. I'm not susceptible. So we'll just have to make sure to watch out for each other down there.
Sounds like we need to
Let's
hustle.
do it.
Nat's unlocked. Please, do what you can to help them.
Nat is unlocked. Where's the gun?
I think they busted a couple of ribs.
That's it! Now, stop!
Alright, so now they gave me the special weapon that I need not to kill people after I kill 3 people. Great. That was the last. We only got one. Where do you want me to go?
Wait, officer? Are you and this woman experts? Take whatever we can get right now. We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad. We're barely holding our perimeter. They said you've done this before. Well,
So they have more creatures locked down.
one fire team to spare and whatever supplies you need, but I can't risk them taking over any more of my men. Put those things down and do it fast. We'll hold them as best we can.
Alright, fire team leader, what do you got to
Heard
say?
you might be looking for some backup. You say the word, we're out there on your 6.
You two have any experience with Terramorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here, but we know how to handle pressure.
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as keeping your cool in a firefight. Might make you more liability than asset.
We're not UC security. You don't need to worry about us.
I want you watching our backs.
Roger that. We're on you.
Stay sharp.
Even though I'm pretty sure they're gonna get hypnotized and start shooting on me. Did I just shoot? Oh my goodness. I shot at the fire team leader.
All
He
wrapped up.
seriously ran right in front of me.
We should go tell the sergeant what happened.
Alright,
Haven't you
Sergeant.
back in one piece.
Problem's taken care of.
I guess our people weren't so lucky.
Don't worry, we're gonna get to the bottom of what happened here today.
The cabinet's already got a plan in place to make sure attacks like this never happen again.
Can't happen soon enough. Thank you. The city owes you both a debt after this.
We were just in the right place at the right time. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terramorphs have been dealt with. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
Alright, yeah, let's get back to the President.
They said you're free to come and go.
That's a
I
relief.
bet
to
I
hear.
am.
Thank
Alright,
you,
Madam
gentlemen.
President.
Let your people
wanna
all
tell
know
me
how
what's going
much we
on?
owe them today.
Losing
ma'am.
anyone in the line of
Ah,
duty
there
is
you are.
tragedy.
I
These
believe
attacks,
we have some things
they can't
we should
happen
discuss.
again.
You've got the cabinet's full backing to prevent more attacks. Understand?
Alright, good. Now you guys seem to be ready to listen.
Captain, Hadrian, it would appear that the cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today, as well as an apology. Your concerns about the Terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, I tried to be middle ground, but I guess it didn't really matter if they were just going to attack us immediately. Better late than never, I suppose.
No, you two were in the right. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, after today's events, the cabinet has decided to revisit its previous decision. We will be supporting your collection of the Terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed, first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative.
Ooh, they want me to be the rep of the UC. That's pretty cool. Alright, well, tell me what I'm getting first and I'll consider it. No, I don't need to be like that. Why not send a diplomat? Because I am a diplomat? Like, that's... Geez, why would it even give me that? It knows what I am. If you're sure that's the wisest course of action.
We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data.
Ooh,
So,
yeah.
will you help us?
Let's get that citizenship. You can count on me, ma'am.
I'm glad to hear it. Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. We're dismissed.
Heroes who live down that
Damage
space
to the
port.
spaceport. The costs of this attack are greater than
amount
I
of
think
money.
we realize.
I'm gonna
We
go
didn't
check
get
in
where
with
we are
Chief
by sitting
Engineer
on our
Kulkarni.
laurels.
Start getting a plan
laurels.
together for
Everyone
that
talked
data.
at once.
Habitable a long time ago.
Jeez, alright.
Helps to remember that.
Hey, she got her major rank back. It even says above her name. That's pretty cool. Good for her.
These creatures can
Grade
hit us
A
into Atlantis.
scientist.
Nowhere is safe.
Friends like these. Okay, I'm not supposed to go in this room. I
Yes?
do need to get back to my ship though, so I can load off some of this
Can't be.
material.
Yes.
What's this lady?
Yes, sir. Consider it done.
What kind of phony name? Deputy Elizabeth McIntyre.
That must make you my Vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat McIntyre, Chief Yassine's second in command.
Why she got that Edna
I
haircut?
heard you were instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. You have my gratitude. I was also told the President wants us to get you into the Armistice archives ASAP. So, we've got no time to waste. You know what the archives are, correct?
Nope, not a clue. Native colonies, native. United colonies. It's where the collective stashed all our best weapons technologies after the colony war.
It was a mutual agreement, but I suppose you touch on the spirit of it. So, you also know then that it was originally managed by the 3 major galactic players. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a one-time use code from each of the 3 Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, the UC is already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people.
the ambassadors of the Freestar Collective and House Varun, to hand over their codes. Get them both and you'll have your data. But that's a lot easier said than done.
What kind of missions do you think they're going to send us on to get their approval? Just need to be attacked too, I guess? I mean, you think they'd be clamoring to help after the spaceport attack. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. However, both ambassadors have reasons they won't, or can't, work with us. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but ultimately, it'll be up to you to get them both to cooperate.
And I do mean cooperate. Threats and violence are off the table here. Though that doesn't mean we can't get creative.
But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe of Freestar, or Ambassador Balmore of House Varun?
Ooh. Let's do a Freestar Collective first.
Ah, the good Ambassador Radcliffe. She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is to make ours miserable. Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and negotiate with her.
Use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support.
And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools to get her code.
What are these other tools? Diplomat. Sounds like we need some leverage over Ambassador Radcliffe. There we go.
Said like you've done this before. UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters, which we suspect you can use to your advantage.
But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an embassy holding cell.
So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way in there without being seen.
Now, we recovered some intel we believe should be able to help with that. But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for information. Maybe even convince to work with you.
Okay. Any other things I should avoid doing while inside the embassy?
Yes, many. Don't steal anything. Don't get caught anywhere you're not supposed to. Absolutely do not harm anyone. If something goes wrong, we'll do our best to smooth things over, but I can't make any promises.
That didn't really help me out much, did it? What can you tell me about this staff member?
Name's Cameron Long. He's younger than Radcliffe, bears less of a grudge towards the UC. He works closely with the ambassador, making him a promising source for information on the ins and outs of embassy life, and someone who very likely hates her guts.
Well, I guess that's all the information I needed at the moment.
All right. Here, your diplomatic ID. I'll give them a heads up you're on your way. Not likely to let you through the door otherwise. Oh, and
really,
I want you to have these.
I couldn't have
Someone
just flown
with
there
diplomatic
all
skills
by
like
myself.
yours should know how to put classified intel to use. Or know when to grease a few palms.
Oh, it just gave me like an extra 10,000 almost. Look at. Okay. Tell me. No, I think that's it. I can probably back out, right? No, it still wants me to keep talking?
Captain,
About what?
would you like to finish your briefing on the ambassadors?
I guess. I thought we just did this. Again. Like, or just tell me about House Varun.
Ambassador Balmore's a challenge.
When the rest of House Varun retreated into seclusion shortly after the signing of the armistice, Balmore stayed here.
He's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests, so there's real hope he might again. Though claiming to know how a member of House Varun thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval.
Ooh, that sounds promising.
It does, but there's a concern. We're not 100% sure Balmore's actually still alive. His public appearances were always rare, but it's been several years now since he last poked his head out. Scans of the facility show life signs, but not the kind we were expecting.
Your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his duties under the armistice.
I don't think he's gonna be alive. I think we're just gonna have to find his body and then have to figure out some other way to get the code. Wait, has no one actually been inside the embassy?
The embassy is still legally House Varun's sovereign territory, so we're not technically permitted inside. We've snuck in the occasional spy, of course, but the ambassador has proven more evasive than you'd expect for a man of his age. But we're quite sure he hasn't left the city. The man stands out.
What do you mean he stands out? Alright, well, here's to hoping we're not chasing a corpse.
It would at least be a speedier negotiation. But I, of course, hope the ambassador is alive and well. Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you access. Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy interior. Once you're inside, though, finding the ambassador is going to be up to you. And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks. Watch out for automated security in there.
Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't already discussed, don't hesitate to ask. I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Approach her while the attack is still fresh in her and her staff's mind. Be smart out there, Captain.
Okay, Radcliffe it is. Here we come.